Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Technical Tuesday. Today we are having a trade recap where I'm going over a technical trade I took. So, no fundamental involved, purely technical, looking at the charts, marking it up and managing a trade. I actually posted this trade out on my story like 2 months back, and ended up working out really nicely because the technicals lined up very nicely. And so we're going to be going over that today. So just taking a look at this chart, this is the 1 hour time frame. Just take a look and see, what sort of bias you might have. So already looking at this chart, I can see it made higher highs on the 1 hour, right? Previous highs didn't quite break, made a higher low, then made a higher high, and it looks like this could be a higher low. So knowing this information, I'm going to be more looking to go long because it just doesn't look short right now. So let's draw out a few just basic trend lines here, supporting it. Basically, yeah. So if it started breaking through these trend lines and heading lower, I would have a more bearish bias or neutral. But because it's making higher highs, higher lows, I don't really want to be a seller. So I'm looking to take this thing long. So now that we have that sort of, bias, now we can really dive into the technicals and try to find a spot to enter. So given price currently, I wouldn't just immediately buy because we want to buy low, sell high. If at least we're going long, we want to buy low, sell high. And this to me looks like it's either going to head higher, or it's going to consolidate, head lower before heading higher. And I would much rather not have all this potential drawdown and loss. So we're going to be patient with this and wait for a retracement. Now the question is, where are we going to get in on this retracement? So let's start drawing more things out, and maybe we'll have a better idea. So let's just draw these here, see if we can find a channel. Okay, cool. There we go. We connected this low with these highs. Let's see if we can find sort of a in between. Okay, so here we have a trend line that seems to be respected nicely. Right, boom, 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 sort of boom, and then support. So I would potentially look for a retest on this before heading higher. So that's one area of confluence potentially. And if we're looking, once it gets around these areas, these moving averages will be about there as well. So it will be keeping it up, the 100 and the 50 moving average. So, as you can see, we're starting to form a bias, starting to see, form a trade idea, basically. And now let's draw some zones out. Let's draw out some zones here. So here's a zone. Basically, I'm just looking for areas where price, reacts to it, as you can see right here. And then it also rejected over here. We have, this area here, roughly. And then we have this area. We have this area where now it's acting as support. And then if we extend this out, you can see so as you can see, that's a pretty strong zone. And then lastly, we have this lower area here. All right, so on the bigger picture, or somewhat bigger picture, this is what we're working with. And then looking a little on a smaller scale, we have sort of this area here. You can see it act as support, resistance, and then support, which also aligns with our previous areas that we're thinking of taking it long, so around here. And so, looks like right here seems to be the area we want to go long at. And again, the thing about technical analysis is you can plan out whatever you like. However, price doesn't have to follow that. This thing could keep going up and we'll be like, oh, we missed it. We should have just bought it. That's the wrong mindset to have. That is the wrong mindset to have, because you need to come in with a plan, and your plan needs to obviously be, have a good risk reward, good system you follow. And then if price doesn't end up reaching your price that you want to get in at, that's not your fault. That doesn't mean you're a bad trader. It just means the market didn't go according to your plan, and that's fine. You didn't lose money, and that's what matters. So, lastly, the last tool we can use is Fibonacci. So let's just use that here. Let's see if this... Okay, so this sort of lined up between the 38 and the 21, which is a good area to go long at. So that confirms our bias. And then here, if we're looking on a smaller sort of time frame, we have this impulse wave here, right? This was boom, and then up, and then this is right around the 50 and the 38, which is another confluence we can add to this area. So this looks like where we want to go long at, around this area. Now we need to decide where our stop's going to be. So this here is only 60, 70 pips. So I'm thinking just have it below these lows, just like this. Seems like a pretty good stop. Gives us some room to wiggle, so we don't get prematurely stopped out. And now that we have that in place, of course, we should be using our position size so that this isn't more than 2% of our account. And first area I'll look at taking profits is this one. This would be the first area I'd take profits at. But my final take profit, which is ambitious, but you sort of want to do this because you want to let your, you want to hold your winners as long as you can, really. So my final TP is going to be like up here, which gives us a really nice risk reward. However, understand that we're going to be taking profits along the way, and so if we do end up actually hitting this zone, it won't be 4-to-1 risk reward in terms of profits. It'll be more like 2 or 3-to-1, because if you take profits here, you won't have as much capital during this move here, if that makes sense. So now that we have everything mapped out, we're going to take partials here, and then obviously this trend line, we might take some partials here because it lines up with the extension level, and then after that some partials here, and then so let's see how this trade progresses. All right, does seem like it's heading to our... All right, cool. So here it just reached our zone. We are getting into the position, obviously setting our stop, and setting our take profit. So let's see how this plays out. It does seem to be heading lower, which is not a good sign, but doesn't really matter. We have a stop set, so you just gotta sort of watch and see. And okay, right off the bat, it's looking pretty good. It rejected off of this trend line zone and the, like I mentioned, moving average, the 100 moving average. Was keeping this up. And okay, we hit our first profit target. This was looking like some strong momentum, so I'm not going to take 70% off. I'm going to take I'll take 30% off. That is such a bad 3. Please forgive me. Okay, and then I'm gonna move my stop here to break even, since you know, we have a nice move up. I wouldn't want to make this, I wouldn't want to lose money on this position because it ended up being a winner in terms of our analysis, and you never want that to be a loss. That shouldn't happen. So let's just see. Okay, so right off the bat, we just moved up to our second sort of area. I'm gonna take some more off here. Yeah, I'm gonna take another 20 off. So we have half off now. And at this point, I'm gonna move my stop below the previous low here. So I'm moving my stop up, trailing stop as this thing heads higher, so that we keep the profits that we make. And okay, just got a really strong break of that trend line. Next place I'll look to take profits is right here, if we end up getting there, or I might get stopped out. All right, so we did end up reaching this area. At this point, we are 230 pips in profit, which is, pretty nice win. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off another 20%, and this leaves, I believe, 30% remaining. So we have 30% left. I'm gonna move the stop up to this low now, and so it's really, if we hit TP or get stopped out, is the only two options now at this point, because I'm not going to take any more partial profits. It's either we're out of the trade by hitting the TP or we're out of the trade by hitting the stop. So really, swing trading like this, you can sort of just walk away from the computer. You don't need to do much. You just have to wait. And, yeah, so let's see what happens. All right. So it did actually sort of get close to our profit target. It would have been a smart move to get out there, since it was only a few pips away from our actual TP. But we didn't act fast enough, clearly, even though we're just simulating this. So we're just gonna hold and see what happens. At this point, I'd probably move my stop right below this low here, and hopefully we don't get stopped out. Let's see. Okay. All right, and we ended up hitting our take profit. And of course, now we are out with the remaining 30% up here. So, total pips 250. However, because of the partial profits and everything, in terms of dollar amount, it wouldn't actually be 250 pips. It'd be closer to 200 or 170 or something like that. But that's good trade management, right? You can't trade very rigidly like that. You can't say, well, I'm holding, I get stopped out, hit take profit, or nothing, right? You need to be, at least what I found works best is actually managing positions well, taking partials, moving stop, just keeping the money that you make, because you don't want to have a winner turn into a loser. That doesn't make any sense. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something, about technical analysis, looking for confluences. This is exactly what I do. There's no secrets. It's just looking for areas of confluence where everything lines up, and then just executing. That's really it. So, hope you guys learned something from this Technical Tuesday. Let me know, if you guys want to see more of these sort of trade recaps, or if you would rather see more tutorials like the moving averages or the Fibonacci videos I've done in the past, let me know. I'll see you guys on Friday.